Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and much appreciated you guys checking out today's video, because we're going to be talking about what I consider probably one of the top 3 February crankbaits that you can throw. I catch a ton of big fish on this thing in February and sometimes into early March, so we're going to go over it in today's video and give you guys some tips and advice on fishing it, and I think it's going to add up to some good ones for you guys over the next month or so. Also, guys, just 2 quick housekeeping tips before we get started. I just want to invite everybody, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Just shoot me a private message on there. And also, please check out my Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns. I'll put the link in the description to those. If you're getting ready to go fishing this spring, this is a great resource to learn more about your favorite lakes across the country. Gives you guys some good places to start out, some tips and advice there. So I'll link all that in the description. Really appreciate that. Okay, a lot of you guys that have followed the channel, you've heard me talk about this one before, but I really want to reiterate how good it is in the month of February and the conditions that it works in. And that's this megabass flap slap, guys. This is a shad, or it looks just like a threadfin shad as far as the profile. It comes in a lot of different colors. This is one particular one I like during the pre-spawn early in the year in February. Flat-sided crankbait, runs probably 4 or 5 foot deep on 8 to 10 pound line. And guys, this is deadly, absolutely deadly in the month of February and March when you get the right conditions. In fact, a lot of you guys that know the channel, I've talked a little bit about this. The biggest limit of bass I ever caught in my entire life was in February at Lake Guntersville in a Bassmaster tournament. I caught 25 pounds, 7 ounces, back when fishing was just regular fishing, on the flap slap at Lake Guntersville. And I clued Edwin Evers on it out to this bait, and he almost won the Bassmaster Classic at Guntersville on it a couple years after that. Megabass flap slap. I'll link it in the description of this video. Like I said, there's a lot of different colors in them. I got quite a wide range here. You got some crawdad patterns and shad patterns, but you really need both. You need maybe a few different crawdad patterns and a couple different shad patterns as far as if you're looking for some. Now, the main thing, let's talk a little bit about where you want to fish at and how you want to fish it. First of all, the conditions that I have done the best in it is when those fish are in, less than 5 or 6 feet of water. And normally, like I said, you got some of those type of fish in the month of February and March. The next thing with that is this is a bait that works really good around grass or rock. It's not very good around wood because it doesn't come through the wood very good. It's not really designed for wood. But my favorite way to fish it is if I have submergent grass, like in you guys that fish in TVA lakes or Texas or Florida lakes, cranking that flap slap over the top of that submergent grass in February is a great way to catch big ones. I've caught tons of big ones doing that. But for most anglers across the country, you're talking about cranking rock. I've caught a lot of fish around riprap in February on it, guys. I'll take this thing and I'll just parallel that riprap in probably 3 to 5 foot of water, make long casts with it, try to get it down there, close to the bottom. This is a bait that it's sort of a hybrid jerkbait crankbait, because unlike a lot of different crankbaits, I'm not really concerned about this bait hitting the bottom. I want to try to keep it closer to the bottom, but it's not, the design on this bait is not designed to deflect off of rocks. It's designed to work through the water column above the rock. And therefore, cranking that rock, channel banks, bluff banks, just any type of rocky, steep bank, or the riprap is a really good way to catch them. And it seems like there's a water visibility window that this works in. And that water visibility window for me is sort of that maybe 1.5 feet to 3 foot of visibility. Perfect visibility for it is about probably 15, 18 inches of visibility. If you got that, that's the ideal scenario. Weather conditions, not so much. I've caught them in sun, clouds, didn't really matter. It's a subtle, quiet bait, so it works good on those tougher fishing conditions as far as if you don't have wind or brighter conditions. And that's another reason this bait is so effective. It doesn't telegraph itself. It's got a thin profile, no rattles in it. Again, it's quiet, and it's just really appealing to those sort of lethargic, fish that are coming out of the winter patterns. They just love it, man, for whatever reason. But that's the main conditions that I do the best at. Excuse me. Now, the next, let's talk a little bit about the tackle that you want to fish it on. This is a pretty light bait, and you guys know I fish a lot of my stuff on spinning outfits. But for whatever reason, I don't like the way the bait feels on a spinning outfit to me, so I use it on a bait caster. This is the Megabass P5 110 Special, 6 foot 11 inches. You need some type of a medium action tip for this, so you have a little bit of flex and a little bit of casting ability. I like a rod that's just under 7 feet. This one's 6'11". And like I said, I usually couple it up with 8 to 10 pound test Seaguar and VizX line. And the way you want to work the bait is a little bit different than a traditional crankbait. It's sort of like, I call it the reel and pull technique. So I'll make a long cast, down that riprap bank. So I'm reeling that bank down the riprap bank, or reeling the bait down the riprap bank, and I'll just reel it like that. And then I'll stop it and I'll pull it a little bit. And sometimes I'll just twitch it a little bit, but I'm just reeling it and then I pull it. Twitch, twitch, twitch. Sort of making sort of an irregular retrieve. So it's sort of coming down through the water like this, reeling it through there, just at like a medium slow pace. And then when you pull it, it gives a little bit different action. Stop it, twitch, twitch, twitch like that. Again, sort of like a cross between a crankbait and a jerkbait. That whole retrieve that I talk about as far as the reel and pull, that's a really good retrieve in the pre-spawn for whatever reasons. Because what happens is when you're reeling that crankbait, it wobbles different than if you don't reel it and you just pull it. There's a subtle difference that the fish seem to really react to during the pre-spawn period. Another thing that's going to help you guys out with this is put a couple little suspend strips on it right here. This bait will float up. You do not want the bait to float up in that colder water February. You want to be able to reel it down there and stop it or fish it slow without it, rising. So put a little bit of a suspend strip on there. I usually change the hooks out. I put 2 number 5 Gamakatsu G Finesse trebles on it. The stock hooks that come with it are pretty good too, but I like those G Finesses on there pretty well too. But guys, this is just a great early season bait. When the water temperature is, between sort of like 45 and 55 degrees, that's sort of the magic temperatures. If I could lay out a perfect scenario, this is what it would be, a couple different ones. You give me 15 inches of water clarity, you give me water temperatures that are about 50 degrees, and you give me a lake where the bass are using, rocky banks or submergent grass cover. When you get those, combination of those in there, you're gonna catch some good fish on this thing. And this is a quality fish bait. This is not a bait that you go out and catch a tons of little ones on. When you fish this type of a crankbait during the pre-spawn in that cold water, when you get bit on it, it's usually a good one. It's usually a 3 or 4 pounder or bigger with it. That tournament that I got the 25-7 on in the Bassmaster tournament, the day before that, I should have had a bigger bag than that, but I lost. I had 8 fish on all day long. I lost 7 of them. The one that I weighed in weighed 6 pounds, 11 ounces, and I could not keep them hooked up. I had like 4 or 5 of them on there just that big. And for whatever reason, they came off. The next day I changed my rod action, changed my hooks, landed every one of them, had 25 pounds. So anyway, guys, I'll put the link in the description. Megabass Flap Slap, give it a try in February. It's gonna be one of your best baits, so hope it helps out.